Hey friends, welcome back to Origami Review, and this episode is brought to you by my merch store. And I'm really excited because the platform just allowed me to upload diagrams and sell diagrams. So if you want to support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store. The OrigamibyBoice fish diagrams are only $1, and it's purely just to support the channel, kind of like a collectible, as there's a free tutorial as well. So definitely check out the tutorial, and if you're interested in supporting the channel, feel free to pick up those diagrams. But yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so first thing right off the bat is something really cool, and this is a new design by Jason Koo, and we're taking a look at his Instagram right now. And this is a chessboard, and there's a couple chessboards out there, but this is the one could call it most efficient space-wise chessboard, where it comes out of a 26 by 26 grid. There's a couple others out there that are 40 by 40 or even larger, but this one is 26 by 26, and I don't know the exact size ratio that compresses down to, but for whatever paper you start off with, you're gonna get the largest chessboard with this design. And this design is no joke. So we're gonna take a quick peek at the crease pattern he posted. Again, this is on his Instagram, so make sure to go check it out. Go drop a like for this crazy design. But it looks pretty wild, and you can see that the folding sequence would also be very wild. However, the full construction of this chessboard and how it's done is really cool. If you really think about the color change necessary to get the tiles all done throughout, it's pretty ridiculous. So massive props to Jason Koo. This is like super big brain design. And even though this design is relatively new, we have another guy who we've also featured in previous episodes, Nick LaFleur. He wanted to fold it. He wanted to try it out. So let's take a look at some of these pictures. Here is basically the pre-creased 26 by 26 grid. And for the chessboard, here shows some of the collapse and just how everything tiles out. And it's really cool how this all comes together. Here's the back side. I'm just amazed at like the whole thing, both how you fold it, the front, the completed model, the back side, the crease pattern. It's all super impressive. So huge shout out to Nick, huge shout out to Jason. Their socials are linked below. But that's a great design to start off this episode. Alright, our next feature is also coming from Instagram, and since we had a little bit of a break, there's a lot of folds to go through. I'm kind of just picking the ones I really like, and this design was very notable to me. And if you're watching this, yes, this design is simple, but it is extremely cute. It's so cute, and I think being able to translate paper, fold it, and then have something be so cute is really one of the points of how origami isn't just a craft, it's an art form. The amount of like emotion and the sense that we get out of this just from transforming the paper, it's phenomenal. So this is Plant Psychologist. We've also featured him in the past, but this penguin chick is just adorable. In fact, I folded one myself. He taught it in the Origami Dan Discord, which once again is our normal source of content, which if you want to join, you're gonna have to DM me, because then I can give you an invitation link. But yeah, this design is so cute. It is definitely the cutest thing designed within the past 2 weeks. I absolutely love it. I believe Plant also has a crease pattern for this penguin chick. So if you want to try folding it, it is a 3D model. It's not too hard. You should go for it. It's a lot of fun. It's really cute. And the color change is awesome. Like, just look at it. It's so cute. But yeah, Plant, super good job. I absolutely love this design. I'm thinking about having Plant on, maybe to talk about some of his design process. That's still kind of in the works, but if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments, and we'll see if we can make it happen. Alright, this next fold is really crazy. This is the weta designed by MK, and you can see his Instagram on screen. And this weta is so spiky, it looks like if you touched it, it would stab your hand. This is a really cool insect. Pretty much all of MK's insects I could probably feature on Origami Review and have a ton to say about it. But this one is pretty recent, October 3rd, and the amount of pleats and spikes that come out of this weta is absolutely amazing. There's a ton of details, all fit in. The grid isn't too crazy, and the proportions are really great. MK, he's been, in the bug wars for a while now, and each one comes out really nice. So this is a really cool one. It could be really scary if you don't like insects very much, but I think it's absolutely great. You can see some of the details in these photos, all these leg spikes. These aren't mushed spikes. These are structured spikes. You can see them coming from the insides of the flap. You can see some of the mouth parts, the really thin antennae, the spikes at the end. Really cool. Yeah, just look how many details are just fit in the legs. And an amazing thing is he gave us a crease pattern. So let's go check that out. And again, go look at his Instagram to find his crease pattern so you can try yourself. But this is it. This is the crease pattern. And again, it's not super crazy. A lot of the spikes and the structures are just regular, folded structures, fancy off-grid diagonal 22.5 pleat things for the spikes. Yeah, there's hardly any level shifters besides the general things for insects, and most of the spikes are just middle flaps or close to the edge, like in the legs. So this is super cool. What a really cool design. You're definitely gonna need the thinnest paper you can find to fold this. As you can note, just from the crease pattern, the ends of the legs are right here, and that's what allows him to have all these spikes along this side. So, with all those layers stacked up to make those legs thin, if you want to fold it, definitely grab a really thin paper. I don't exactly know what paper MK uses, but he likes to show it off on his Instagram story sometimes, and it is very thin. So here's some progress photos. But yeah, go ahead, check it out. MK, he's such an amazing insect folder and designer. Super cool. Alright, and the next couple folds we're going to review are back on the Origami Dan Discord. Again, if you want to join the Discord, let me know. Send me a DM and I'll get you an invite link. It is such a phenomenal community, and it's getting even more and more active day by day. This fold right here is the Lich King, I believe from World of Warcraft, designed by Win Tuan An, and I'm probably pronounced that incorrectly, so I apologize. And it was folded by Chung Seon, which I also might have mispronounced, so my bad, but this is an amazing fold. Chung Seon's Instagram is right here. Feel free to go check it out, or join the Origami Discord, Origami Dan Discord, and click the link. But let's take a look at some of these photos. So the Lich King is quite a complex model if you've ever seen the crease pattern, and that's because there are a ton of details put in here. A lot of these armor plates, the figure itself, and the sword all have distinct details. And actually with this paper you can see them pretty clearly. There's an individual knee pads, shin guards. The sword is really detailed. I'm pretty sure the sword has a name, that's fairly common in the World of Warcraft scene. I don't know the name of it, but I believe the model is designed pretty specifically after it. And what's cool about this design is it's intended to be I don't know what to call it, like a half model, where the sword, instead of having a full-length sword, it's as if he's pulling it out of the ground. And so when the designer, was designing it, all he needed to do was have that little bit so it'd still be sticking, in the ground. Doesn't need the whole, sword, which definitely it makes the design a little bit more efficient when thinking about the crease pattern. But yeah, what a phenomenal fold. This design in general is really cool. You don't see too many of them. It's a pretty difficult fold, and I think the crease pattern is not the easiest to come by as well. But it is really cool. Great job folding this. Paper Joyce is on point, and man, that sword was folded very, very well. Yeah, we'll just go through some of the pictures here. Photography's pretty well done. We get a clear look at a lot of details and the face. But yeah, models with faces are very, very difficult to get right. And here, this is done pretty well. But yeah, what an awesome fold. Let's go check out the next one. Alright, so this next fold is the Kota Ime Tarantula, folded by Giorgio Lorenzo. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. When I talked with Lorenzo, I just call him Lorenzo in chat. I'm in a couple Instagram chats with him. But he is an extremely talented folder and artist. Not just does he fold, he can do, formal art, sculpting really well. And that can be evident in his shaping and kind of the creative process he goes through when approaching a model. So this tarantula, he's actually folded many times, but this time he took it upon himself to give it such a dynamic pose. It's amazing. If you've never seen like tarantula videos of them hunting or them defending, they'll make themselves look bigger by striking this pose, burying their fangs. It's easy for them to strike down on prey or defend themselves. And if you see a real tarantula do this to you, I recommend backing away because they might bite you. But this is really well done. A common thing, kind of motif I've seen with insects recently is people just try to make the limbs as thin as possible and as stick-like as possible. And for some insects, it works. It looks really good. For tarantulas, they're beefy. So those legs need some weight. And Lorenzo did a really good job showing that here. I think if we go to some of the other photos, we can see closer up. Yes, here we go. We can see some of the details. He really put an effort to add joints into the legs as well, which is really cool. And this paper is only a 40 centimeter square. So this is actually a pretty shrunken down, a very small tarantula. And despite working with that, he did an amazing job. I really like these details on the fangs. If you check out a real tarantula, they're kind of bushy and they have the sharp fang at the end. So this is really cool. I really love the dynamic pose. It reminds me of the tarantula Robert Lang did, where I believe he designed it to be in this pose. But I really like tarantulas in this pose. I think they look super fierce. If you show a picture of this to someone and they might think it's like, oh wow, that's a green tarantula, and then you tell them, no, this is just origami, no worries, and I think they'd be pretty impressed. I certainly am grateful, Lorenzo. This is super cool. Ton of details, even got the little eye sockets going. So great job, and check out his Instagram for more cool folds. Alright, and here we have another really cool dragon. This time it is designed by Trung Dong. And again, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. And this is Parthenax from Skyrim. And I'm a huge Skyrim fan, so maybe there's a little bit of bias here. But this is such a cool dragon. I love all the Skyrim dragons, Kamiya's Alduin fold. And this Parthenax, super cool. I absolutely love it. Trung Dong, he's a really talented folder, and he's also a breaker, which I first connected with him on Instagram because I do some breaking as well. But he's way better than me. He can do some really cool stuff. But this fold is really cool. Looks like he used a 70 centimeter uncut square of za, and if you're curious, yes, it's pronounced za, or at least something close to that. It's not do. It's something to do with the alphabet there. But let's check out some of these photos. Oh man, it's such a spiky dragon, such a sharp dragon. Dong, he's really good at shaping. I would pull up a picture of Parthenax, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show those off Google. But this is a really cool dragon, really well done. This subject hasn't really been done a whole lot. I don't know if there's any other parthenaxes out there. But you can see, there's pleats in the wings, the arms, the talons are really, really sharp. I just love the, how the color accentuates some of the dragon pleats, and it's really, really spiky. And it's pretty cool. Nailed the proportions and the form on this one. What a cool dragon design. What a really cool dragon design. I love Skyrim dragons. We need to see some more Skyrim dragons. So anyone watching this, if you design a really cool one, maybe you'll get an origami review. Alright, but yeah. Very nice fold. This isn't quite a new fold, but it was put into the Hall of Fame recently. But yeah, check it out. Go follow him on Instagram. Very, very talented folder. And the last thing we'll feature today is actually a person, and I'm just going to feature 2 of their folds, but all of their folds are amazing. This is Kazuka Zuroroi. That's what Kazuki goes by on both Instagram and Twitter. And this is kind of a response to some of the people who wanted me to check out folders on Twitter. Obviously, we're on Kazuki's Instagram right now, but we're going to flip over to the Twitter to show some cool stuff. Just giving you a look at some of the models that Kazuki designed. And a lot of these are pretty much just 22.5 designs. And Kazuki on Twitter posts a lot of his 22.5 structure studies, which is really cool to see. It's a bunch of neat transitions you can do with 22.5. And yeah, so let's take a look at this first one. You'll kind of see what I mean. This is a scaled ancient dragon, or in this case, it's like a scaled Western dragon. It's cool. It's really, really cool. What more can I say? There's a couple scaled Western dragons out there, and in my opinion, not a lot of them look good. Most of them have just way too many scales, and the proportions are really off. And what makes this one really cool is that it's 22.5. So I believe the crease pattern's on here, but you can see, the scales. It's minimal scales. There's a lot of spikes. And I think the inspiration was taken off of Satoshi Kamiya's Ancient Dragon. And there's just a little bit of resemblance in the crease pattern, not a whole lot, besides, the feet coming from the middle. But in this case, he used point splits instead of like a strip graft. But you can see it's a 22.5 degree model that uses level shifters like in the Ryujin to make scales. And there's, really cool ways this works. I folded one of Kazuki's scaled 22.5 models, and very similar to how you can spread squash, like any box pleated flap and turn it into pleats and then into scales. He uses, like bird-based flaps to spread squash into these transition units. And it's really cool. I'd never thought about doing that. And it's super, super cool. I plan on folding this sometime. I'm taking a little break from scales for a bit, but this is really, really cool. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And the second fold I want to feature and talk about a little bit is this. So this is a Fudobasaurus skeleton. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right either. And yes, this is made from a single uncut square. I know, right? It doesn't look like it might be, You might be a little sus, like, it's got teeth and an open jaw. Might not be one uncut square. But as we've seen from, another person we featured a lot here, Bodo Hag, he's been innovating some of the skeletons in the past couple years, and showing how to do it with one uncut square. This one is also one uncut square, and it is pretty insane of a fold. So we're gonna hop over to Kazuki's Twitter, and this is the Twitter post, and I'll just do a quick translation so you guys can see. You can see that his intent was to create a skeleton with an uncut square. And this fold is a little bit older. It's from 2016, so you may not have seen it if you weren't on Twitter, but it broke some waves, and he has some progress photos here, which is just really crazy. He gives it some scale. It looks like this paper is over a meter, and that grid is pretty wild, which it obviously has to be, or something like this. And oh my goodness, it is really, really cool. Let's see if there's any other progress photos here. Yeah, you can really see how he's collapsing it all the way through. Bunch of middle flaps, bunch of edge flaps, really long center flap for the neck and then all the spines. And yes, it is 100% one uncut square. And he did such an awesome job shaping this, especially because of, you know, the size of the paper. It would be very hard, but he did a really good job keeping the structures clean and then supporting the joints so that, you know, the model can support itself. Something I've learned from folding really large models is when it gets to that size, the paper is actually heavy and it weighs it down a ton. So here maybe he used wire, some other techniques to get it going. It looks phenomenal. In the photos, we can see he used some fishing line, but you can see the resultant model is, you know, about the size of, you know, the main part of a guitar. So that's a big model. This is super, super cool. You can see how the head's collapsing and how it forms into that jaw. Absolutely ridiculous model. Super, super cool. But yeah, check out his Twitter, because he's got a lot of cool stuff on there, and he pumps out new designs every once in a while. So yeah, if you want, you know, if you want to learn more about 22.5, his models probably aren't the best to fold as a beginner, 22.5, but there's a lot of cool studies he does with that methodology. So go check it out. Kazuka0roy on both Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, that's all we have for today on Origami Review. And once again, if you guys are interested, feel free to check out the merch store. We got the Origami by Fish logo diagram, as well as some other cool stuff, some stickers, some shirts, and let me know what you think. But yes, I'll see you guys next time on maybe another Origami review or another video, whatever I happen to make next. And thanks for watching. Go like and subscribe for the algorithm, and enjoy your day.
All this origami, all this origami, all this origami got me going kamikaze now.